right? Hello. And there's Trina, who was here on Sunday. Now she's here on a Wednesday. Yay. Imagine that. And then there's Alora, who came with her mom tonight. Leslie, who happens to be our fabulous admin support specialist. So I would just like to welcome everyone who is here tonight. So those of us who are regular elevators, could we please welcome these lovely folks the way that we do? We love you, we appreciate you, and we're so glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Let's give them a hand. All right, and thank you to everyone who's tuning in online on YouTube. Thank you very much. And here come the rest of our musicians. Fantastic. So as they get set up, then I'm just going to sort of answer the question that I know is burning on everyone's minds, which is like, why am I here? Why are we together in this space on a Wednesday evening, right? I can see it all over your faces. No, not really. Anyway, well, we come together to basically do one thing and one thing only, and that is to remember there's only one thing going on. And so it doesn't matter what you call it. Some people call it source, spirit, God, love, the quantum field, creativity, whatever. The thing that is important, which is our purpose here at VTC, is to embody that thing, to feel it in every single fiber of our being, to show up as that. And because we like to talk about love here at VTC, love is my true nature, then we like to talk about showing up as the love we are. And not just for ourselves, but for each other and for our world. Because the more that we do, the more we recognize the love that is the essence of everyone in front of us, of everyone and everything in the world. And the more we recognize and amplify that, then the more we up-level in our vibration together, right? So how does that sound on a Wednesday night here at Elevate at VTC? Fantastic. Okay, so now I'm actually going to invite everyone who'd like to stand up. We're going to sing our opening tune together. And if we could have the first lyric slide, please. And I'm going to switch mics. One big family in... Okay, so if you want to sing along, please do. It's super fun. It's got a groovy, funky bass line, and it just really speaks again to what it is that we're doing here, okay? Everybody right, Mr. Pablo Cardenas on piano, Peter Douse on electric bass, and Nicholas Marquez on the drums. All right, and yes, thank you. Sorry, we turned it for meditation because we didn't want it to shimmy. So yeah, just a screw. Jamie, can you? Yeah, thank you. All right, switching mics. All right, so you can go ahead and sit down. Those of you who are still standing, we already said our hellos. We welcome the people who are here for the first time. Could I get the next slide, please? Thank you. So let us remember where it is that we are gathering tonight for Elevate, that we are coming together in gratitude and humility on Lekwungen territorial land, the land of the Songhees Esquimalt Nation, whose enduring stewardship of the land, sky, and sea sustains all life that flows through here. We honor their profound reverence for the energies of these sacred spaces. What a blessing, gift, and privilege it is to be able to live and breathe and work and play and co-create together in the shared spirit of harmony, respect, and love upon these sacred lands. May our community uphold this legacy of care and interconnectedness that the Lekwungen peoples have and continue to embody in all that we learn and manifest here. Haichka. All right, so now is time for some more music. All right, so gentlemen, I'm just going to hand it over to you. This is going to be an opportunity for all of us to just tune in. So feel free to close your eyes, sit back, relax, and just receive the gift of this artistry that we're about to be immersed in. Thank you. just taking a few more moments to bask in all of that beauty. All of those cascading melodies and rhythms. Allowing the beauty and artistry of our soul to be further awakened and expanded. Allowing that incredible love that we are at our core to just blossom and radiate through our hearts. Emanate more brilliantly through every single pore of our being. Allowing for all of that light and brilliance to interconnect and intertwingle so beautifully, so luminously, right here. All of our hearts and souls so divinely interconnected. Knowing that because there is only one, that there is nothing that separates us from the music, nothing that separates us from each other, nothing that separates us from anyone or anything that is, was, or ever will be, because there is only one. One breath, one life, one dynamic, creative, energetic flow that expresses as the music we've just heard, the beauty that is still resonating within our beings, the communal experience that we are sharing right here, right now, whether in person or online, live or through a recording. And so for all of the beauty and brilliance and love and infinite possibilities of artistry that are present, that are available, that are possible, I simply release my word as law, knowing that tonight's Elevate Wednesday is the most connective and beautiful, most luminous Elevate yet. So for all that is present, for all that is on its way, I simply say thank you for it all, and so it is. And so just taking a few more moments to continue basking in this vibration, vibrating at this frequency of love, taking a moment to bring into our hearts someone we know, whether a person, an animal, someone we know could do with some spiritual support, some affirmative prayer. Just bringing into our hearts that being's eyes, soul, presence. And no matter what is going on, no matter what is being experienced, focusing only on the wholeness, allness, and wellness of their being. So I invite everyone to receive a cleansing breath in, release. Energy and hand to hand. So beautiful, so reflective, Pablo.
You know, the song called Adios Nonino from Astor Piazzolla from Argentina. So it's a song for his father, Nonino.
Sounded Argentinian. Very nice. Thank you. All right. Okay, so gentlemen, if you would like to go and take a seat, there won't be any music for a while. Thank you. I don't need this yet. Next slide, please. All right, so shifting gears. We are well into our month of connection. That is the theme for this month, and I gotta tell you, it is informing so much for me, like connecting of the dots, connecting in relationships, connecting in experience. Oh my gosh, all over the place. And our affirmation for the month is, we nurture relationships and curate experiences to cultivate wholeness. So my curiosity is, because we do have some time available, if there is anything that is alive for anyone in this moment that they would like to bring into community regarding connection or anything that this affirmation is stirring up in you, then now is an opportunity to do so. Because I stand here and talk a lot, but if there's anyone else who would like to offer something, then I know that there are other people who would love to hear it. Bonnie. I'm going to see how far this extends. Hold on. Tangled up. Okay. All right. Here we go. You might, okay, yep, that'll work. We're good? No, you need to lean forward just a bit. Yeah. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want, but so people can hear online. Thank you.
You're welcome. So for me, I really like how it's nurturing relationship, curating experience, and then you cultivate wholeness. Like you can really like create something special with those words, like really curating every experience you have and nurturing the relationships, and also creating more relationships and nurturing those to create like a wholeness in the whole experience of everything.
Mm-hmm. And as someone who writes poetry, I know how important words are to you. So
yes.
Yeah. All right. So thank you. So so I'm just hearing that it's almost like a building on top of, this, on this, on this, on this, that the more you do this, the more you experience this, the more you experience this, the more you can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it really opens you up for like so much more, and then you get more like synchronicities and more like just more and more.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to share something into community? All right, Leslie. Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting because for me, connection is so important. It's one of my core values, and yet I think we're kind of living in a space where we find it really difficult every day to connect with people, and we've become really isolated. So it's, we say a lot of like, oh, we'll have to get together soon. It was so good to see you. We'll have to, but we're just missing that step of when can you meet? Where should we do it? Like, let's actually have that happen. So for me, when it comes to nurturing relationships, it is about I'm working on taking that extra step and really working that muscle, because it sort of atrophies if we don't continue that like actual creating those experiences and those connections and those moments. And they don't have to be long, and they don't have to take forever, and they don't have to be perfectly curated. But I think I like this because it's almost cascading. If we nurture the relationships, we are curating our experiences and we are cultivating wholeness. Yeah.
So I'm hearing a kind of building on what Bonnie offered, and just really being more intentional about what connection is, how it informs our life, and where we can, I guess, be more intentional with our connections and our experiences, and that, everything builds on everything else. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm gonna talk about values and connections, one of my core values too. All right, thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate the shares that were brought in today, and even if you didn't share, I suspect that there's something that is happening for you, and I just invite you to notice. Notice and observe and just be with what is. No judgment, no criticism, just like, what's happening? What's alive for me right now, right? And so we still have a few more weeks left in our month, and so we all get a chance to just lean into connection a little bit more, and what's happening with us in our relationships and experiences, and is there something else that we could do that we could be more intentional about so we could experience more of that cascading effect that Leslie was just talking about as we cultivate the wholeness that we are at our core, okay? So with that, next slide, please. Moving into today's, I don't know if they're words of wisdom, but they're curiosities for sure. So, as happens often, I write something in the newsletter at the beginning of the day, and then by the time I get here, different stuff has happened in between. So I'm going to try and stick with what I feel like wanted to be shared, even though I could veer off in a different direction, which has happened a lot lately. So in the newsletter and for our meditation, I think everyone was here for the meditation, one of the first questions I asked was, what are you tolerating? Now, I did ask something like this at the beginning of last month when I came back from Nashville, because when I came back from Nashville, it was so obvious to me what I was tolerating and how much of my life wasn't fitting when I got back from Nashville, because I felt so filled up. I felt so inspired and ignited and just vibing high, and then I came back and I'm like, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. But still, even though I've made changes and I am aware and there are steps being taken, the question just keeps coming up for me. What are you tolerating? It's actually a question that the coach that my husband Glenn, did anybody notice Glenn is not here tonight? Glenn is not here because he has the first night off ever since I started here 2.5 years ago. He's not sitting at that tech table doing tech. He is at home. I don't even know if he's watching on YouTube. If you are, Mahoney, if not, that's totally okay too. I don't know why I'm saying it, because you won't see. But anyway, so he has the night off, and thank goodness Liam and Jamie are here. So thank you to the gents back there, and I'm so delighted for Glenn that he has the day off for once. Anyway, back to the thing. I saw you look up like that, yeah. Glenn's not here, and you're still hearing his voice, yeah. Anyway, so yes, of course he's here in spirit, but physically he is at home enjoying a night off. All right, so back to, so what are you tolerating? What have you been holding on to, putting up with, or making excuses for far too long? Well, here's the thing. I thought, okay, I'm asking this question with this word, which is a question that the coach asked us. And I thought, I'm just going to look up tolerate. I'm pretty sure I know what tolerate means, but I'm going to look it up in the dictionary. And I was actually surprised, okay? So the one definition that jumped out at me says, allowing the existence, occurrence, or practice of something, in brackets, that one does not necessarily like or agree with, outer brackets, without interference. Okay, so when I read the whole thing, I'm like, yeah, I get that. But the fact that there were brackets there, I'm like, wait a minute. So if I take the brackets out, what it actually says is allowing the existence, occurrence, or practice of something without interference. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you're putting up with, that you don't like, that isn't to your preference. It can just be something that you're like allowing to happen and you're not interfering with it, right? So this takes me to a practice or an assignment that Glenn and I had with this coach, and that was to get clear on our values. And so I had my work, he had his work, and then I said, and you know what? We should do it together as a couple, too. So I came down with my 5, he came up with his 5, and then we came up with our 5. They're all different. There's a little bit of overlap between Glenn's and mine, and there's a little bit of overlap between his and mine individually and ours together. But for the most part, they're very, very different. And I thought that was such a curious thing. And in this month of connection, in this month of nurturing relationships and curating experiences, I thought, well, isn't this telling of why I'm feeling so incredibly with so many aspects of my life as I'm nurturing relationships, as I'm curating experiences, but sometimes I'm not really feeling the wholeness, And so my 5 values are integrity, number 1 at the top, authenticity, connection, openness, and artistry. And I went back and forth with beauty and artistry because I'm like, I really appreciate beauty, but the thing I appreciate and value more is someone who has some kind of skill or inherent talent or knows how to do something that kind of creates something beautiful. Like that, the thing behind it, And again, we have the artist of all of these fabulous paintings in the house, Shannon, right there. And I just love these paintings. I love this particular art installation, especially at night, even though it pops during the day, because it's all nighttime. It's all starscapes. It's all of these incredible, amazing blues and purples, which is just exactly like part of Elevate, like blues and purples and nighttime, right? So anyway, but yeah, so artistry. But the one that really is probably like my foundational value is integrity. And what I realized, I mean, it just took this exercise to see it on paper. I'm like, well, if that doesn't tell me why I feel so dissatisfied and so unfulfilled and so discombobulated in so many aspects of my life, which is not to say I hate my life, it's just that I know it doesn't quite fit. I know it's not as aligned as it could be. I don't feel as aligned as it could be. Why? Because I'm out of integrity in almost every single aspect of my life. And part of that not being in integrity, which really means not being in wholeness, not being in completeness, not being in oneness, is because I'm not being as intentional as I could be. I'm not being as committed as I could be. Commitment is one of the ones that Glenn and I have together. And I'm not showing up as authentically as I possibly could. And so when I'm out of integrity, it's like all of the other ones are kind of like wonky, right? But as soon as I step into integrity, as soon as I am like aligned, then authenticity just happens. Then connection is just what, evolves, between people. Then openness is how I'm showing up, like just being really open and accepting to whatever it is that wants to happen and however it is that is mine to show up instead of trying to force something or chase something. And the artistry, the creativity, like specifically the artistic creativity that is alive in me, that is just so ready to be unleashed, just comes. And that happened just a few days before I went to Nashville. It was like my body and my psyche knew that I was leaving here and that I was going somewhere new and different that I'd never been to. I was about to experience something new and different that I'd never experienced before. And it was like everything just softened and relaxed. And all of a sudden, 2 brand new tunes came out. Just like full new songs that we ended up singing here last month. Because my body and my psyche knew that I was going to Nashville and just let go. And it was the coolest thing. And I'm like, wow, I would like to experience that kind of thing more often. And then when I came back here after Nashville, and it was just back to I don't want to say the same old grind. I did use the word gruel a couple of weeks ago, which I just thought it was such a funny word in the quote from Daniela. But it's just like do, all of these things require my attention. And so since I've come back, I've gotten really, really sick. Just as I was getting better, I fell off this stage. I injured my foot and then this left side of the body. And then just as all of this is starting to get into, shape and everything, I spilled tea on my laptop on Saturday, rendering my machine useless and having to work on Glenn's laptop, which he doesn't need as often, thankfully. But still, everything is slowed down again, just as it was when I fell, just as it was when I got sick, just as it happened when I had the collision at the end of June last year. And so for me, the thing that I'm getting, and I'm aware, I'm like, I get it, I hear, universe, I am listening, I am paying attention, I don't need any more big slaps upside the head, I'm aware. It's not so much about the slowing down, it's where am I out of integrity? Where am I not in alignment with my values? And as I look at my values and look at how they inform the values that Glenn and I came up with together for each other, it's like, well, man, if I'm not integrity in this, then the communication that I want to have happening here, that's not happening. Or because that's not happening, we're out of integrity, and that really bugs me, right? So doing this values exercise was so fantastic. I'm so grateful for that, and I'm so delighted that we actually did it together to see what our values as a couple who's been together over 30 years and, have probably had about 17 different marriages, within those 30 years because we're totally different people from moment to moment, never mind year to year, decade to decade. And so to see that this is a way that we can become more connected with each other, that this is a way that we can nurture our relationship as we evolve as a couple, decade after decade after decade. Super cool, super cool. Okay, so why do we tolerate? I asked this question a few weeks ago. Any answers, any guesses? Anyone want to shout anything out? Why do we put up with stuff? We're afraid we might offend somebody. Okay. Yeah? Oh, someone, okay. All right. Okay. How about like a little simpler, a little more basic? It's easy. It's easy because it's familiar. It's something that we've been doing for however long, and so it's easy. The hard thing to do, the challenging thing to do, would be to do something different, would be to experience something different, would even to be like nurtured differently, right? But here's the thing, going back to that definition where there's that little bit that's in the brackets, I started thinking, well, what is tolerating really? Are there different kinds of tolerating? And what aspect of our being is actually doing the tolerating? You know, like in spiritual and consciousness studies, at least the way that I came up, there was the absolute, there was the relative. There was above and there was below. There was God, spirit, love, allness, whatever you want to call it. And then there was the individual. So there's like the macro and the micro. And so for me, like I'm constantly like, you know, capital R reality, small r reality, capital S self, small s self. Even though it's all one thing, these are different aspects of being, okay? There's like the whole thing. There's just the being part of it, which has no form. It just is ising, right? And until it has something to unleash itself through, until it has something to fulfill itself through, it can't even experience itself. But the thing is that that energy, that creativity, that source, that quantum field, whatever it is, it doesn't care, it doesn't judge, it doesn't discern, it just is. And so when there is a vessel or a container, hi there, I'm a container, Leslie's a container, our community's a container, when that energy has an opportunity to express itself or fulfill itself through the container, then all of the stories, all of the beliefs, all of the paradigms, the opinions, the expectations, all of the everything that make up part of who we are what that incredible, amazing energy has to filter through. And then based on that, we have our experience. So I'm wondering, are there two types of tolerating? Are there two levels that tolerating is happening on? Is there the human or conventional experience where allowing the existence, occurrence, or practice of something that we don't necessarily like or want or agree with without interference? Is that us doing it, like the human part of ourselves? And then there's, you know, the other part, we're just source. Source is just doing its thing. It's just like electricity, right? Electricity just is until it finds a way to like show up, you know, as a lamp, you know, as a hairdryer, as a little candle or whatever, right? Like it's just there all the time, but it shows up differently according to some kind of vessel or container. So source, maybe it's just hanging out. Maybe it's just like super chill and available. It's not putting up with anything, but it's tolerating. It's just there, ready, not interfering with what we're interfering with. It's just ready to unleash itself no matter what. And so the biggest thing that we are tolerating, Glenn and I, as people, as humans at home, and we just made a big decision a couple of days ago, is to move. And that's because where we live, although we appreciate and value it so much, just hasn't worked for a couple of years now. It hasn't fit, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel like a place we want to come home to. And for me, Glenn too, but definitely for me, my home needs to be my sanctuary. Like no matter what is going on, I need to be able to just go there and feel completely relaxed, completely supported, know that I can just be myself. It doesn't matter, you know, what is going on around me. My home is my sanctuary. And that just hasn't been the case. And so it just got to a point where it's like, that's it, time to move. And that sort of phrase, time to move, for me, to be in integrity, going back to my values, I got to move in every single aspect of my life. So right now, I'm looking at everything, and this is part of the reason we're working with this coach together as a couple, because I want to be in alignment. I want to feel authentically me. I want to be in integrity. I want to walk the talk as much as I possibly can. And I know that I have felt discombobulated and just sort of disconnected, for some time now. And so the title of my talk today is Tolerating, a Call to Rise. Was there anyone here a couple of weeks ago when I did the Rise protocol? John. Okay, only one person. Great. No, two. Bonnie. Okay. Maybe Denise. Come on. Sure, you're here every Wednesday. Okay, 3. But everybody else, this is new to you. Fantastic. Okay, so this is something that started coming up for me over the last few months as I kept going deeper and deeper into the nervous system regulation. And for those who haven't heard me talk about this before, this whole last year, and the reason that I ended up going to Nashville was because my husband Glenn and I were in a year-long program called Relaxed Money, which was about creating a more relaxed relationship, nurturing a more relaxed relationship with money to experience money more abundantly, more prosperously. And a big component of that program, which has been such an incredible gift to me and was a lifeline during my recovery after the collision, is the nervous system regulation techniques that we learned. And what hit me a few months ago was that because the reason that we do this is to signal safety to the body so that we can signal to our body and our nervous system that it's okay to try something different, to try something new, that it's not a threat, that this was like a missing component in affirmative prayer, in manifestation, in demonstration. And that this is something that was key for people who knew how to pray, who knew how to meditate, who knew how to manifest, who did all the steps, read all the books, took the courses and the seminars and that kind of thing, and even had some success, but not consistently or not for, let's say, bigger, more substantial things. And the thing that really got clear was that it's because when our nervous system thinks that something is a threat, then our body is going to shut down and go into protection mode. And so even if what we want to expand into is a greater version of ourselves, happier, more successful, more connected, more anchored, more of sharing our gifts, whatever they are, with the world, if our nervous system thinks that that's a threat because it's not used to that, if our psyche is going, wait a minute, that's not what you know because this is what you've experienced so far, so forget it, we're not going to support you in this expansion, starting to use the nervous system regulation techniques to regulate the nervous system, allow the body to soften, allow the body to realize that it's okay to expand into something different and new beyond our comfort zone, and then to just let go and allow whatever it is that is meant to happen. That's what this RISE protocol is all about. So next slide, please. So the R in RISE is regulate. And this is about calming the nervous system, signaling safety to the body. This is just one technique, the butterfly hug. Tapping, it means that there are different things happening, one side of the brain to the other side of the brain. And what it's doing is it's signaling safety to the body. Whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're going through, it's telling the body, it's okay to go through this. And as the body learns that it's okay, the body starts to relax. The nervous system starts to regulate, and then you become more open to what it is that you're trying to experience or want to experience. And then we move on to the I, integrate. So as you're signaling safety, you're also allowing the body to integrate this, to really settle into the interspaces of our beings, into the cells, into the molecules, into the atoms, that safety is okay, that we aren't going to die. That's the bottom line. Whatever is going on, whatever we're experiencing, we can just allow it. We're not going to die. And then the next thing is surrender. And then through the safety, as things are being integrated, you get to then open up. Open up and allow for a new experience, something that you've never had. So if it's, more money, if it's a different home, if it's a different job, it's a different kind of relationship, if it's letting go of something that is getting in the way of you expanding, this is when you open yourself up to just letting go and surrendering to what's possible, because your body is already like, okay, we can handle this. And then we come to the E, which is expand. And then you just open up to the infinite possibilities that are available for you to express more fully as the love you already are. And without that nervous system regulation, the expectation can be to go from where you are now straight to expansion. And for some people, that's just too big a leap. For me, it's been too big a leap. For me, it was too big a leap, especially when I was recovering from that collision. So, when we truly realize at the deepest level that we are spirit being, we begin to let go of perceived limitations of our humanness. And that means capacity, our perceived expiration date, right? Because our bodies will give out someday. And in each now moment can more automatically open up to the infinite possibilities of more wholly expressing as the pure, essential love we truly are. That's the ideal, right? However, in order to lean into that expansiveness, we must first tune into our humanity and rise. So in the end, my questions for you are, as you're opening up to this protocol, as you're considering what it is that you're tolerating, I'm going to ask you, is there somewhere in your life that you are out of integrity, that you are out of alignment? And if so, is it possible that that misalignment or that non-integrity is what's informing your experience of life right now? What you're tolerating is inviting you to rise so that you can more fully experience and express as the wholeness, the love you truly are. Thank you, and so it is. Oh yeah, I don't have it. So now it's time for some conscious connection. So if you would like to unpack some of what you have just heard or experiencing, whatever's alive for you right now, I invite you to get into groups of 2 or 3 or maybe 4. These tables are super handy if people want to move around. And if this isn't your cup of tea, then maybe make yourself a cup of tea. There's some hot water in the hallway. There's an integrative table. Is there? Yes, there's stuff on the interactive table over there that you can check out. And then I will ding the meditation bowl in about 10 minutes when it's time to come back. Thank you. So yes, so I'll talk to her about it, and then I'm 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning. All right. The bell is tolling. Tolling for thee. All right. Welcome back, everyone, from your conscious connecting through conversation. So what I'm going to do now is, as the musicians make their way back to the stage, I'm going to hand out the You Are Beautiful blessing box. And so, Bonnie, I'm going to start with you and then just pass it along, and maybe you can let Layla know what it's all about. All right. And then I would just love for all of us to take a moment and just tune into what generosity means and what generosity feels like when we have something that we want to share, that we want to offer. And so I'm putting in my offering into the abundance bowl today. And I'm going to hand out this abundance bowl, and I'm just going to ask everyone, whether you're putting something in it or not, whether you're contributing financially or not, I just invite you to spend a moment with this bowl and offer an intention for abundance, an intention for prosperity, an intention for deepened connection, okay? For yourself, for our community. So Bonnie, I'm going to pass this over to you as well. And then as the abundance bowl and as the blessing, your beautiful blessing box goes around, we're going to hear some more music from the Elevate Trio. Pablo, Peter, Nicholas, making their way to the stage, about to play something for us. Here we go. Thank you, gentlemen. Fantastic. Oh, so just taking a moment to really appreciate this incredible, amazing opportunity every single Wednesday to receive this gift from these guys, from Pablo Cardenas on piano, Peter Dowse on electric bass, tonight, Nicolo Marquez on the drums, missing our Kelby McNair who's in Hawaii, but thank you, gentlemen, the Elevate Trio, wow. So just basking in that appreciation, allowing that incredible, amazing feeling of gratitude and thankfulness to appreciate even more, knowing that the more that we appreciate, the more that we find to appreciate, the more that we find to appreciate, the more that appreciation appreciates. So with so much gratitude, with so much reverence for artistry and beauty and community and giving and sharing, oh my gosh, I just simply open up to the infinite possibilities of how this community is growing, all of the ways that we are expressing as the love that we truly are, knowing that whatever love is present, there is always more to come. So with a smile on my face and in my heart, with this incredible, amazing, deep-seated, reverent gratitude, I simply say thank you for it all, and so it is. Oh my gosh. All right, next slide, please. 90 transformational breath work every third Saturday here in the sanctuary, 9 to 11:30 a.m. If you're interested in journeying with us this Saturday, we're doing a beautiful down regulation journey called Anchoring in Presence. And there are 3 spots left. So if you're interested, let me know. Otherwise, whatever the third Saturday in April is going to be, that's when the next one is. Next. If you are a member, it looks like the members are on this side of the room. If you haven't already, please save the date, Sunday, April 12th, 1 to 3 p.m., and it is 1 to 3 p.m. If anyone was watching on Sunday, I said 2:30. It really is to 3 p.m. because even though there isn't some heavy-duty business, we want to feel spacious with what it is that we're doing. There will be a light lunch that will be served before, after Celebrate, and during that Celebrate, all the new members who joined VTC since the last AGM are going to be honored with a special ceremony, okay? Next. All right. Does anybody in the community have anything that's happening that they would like to invite people into? No? All right. Leslie, yep, okay, here. Here, and then people online will hear as well.
Okay. So interesting to hear Lacia talking about nervous system regulation and spiritual practices and integrating it all. And I'm actually co-leading an event about that. So April 18th, Kimiko Karpov is coming over from White Rock to work with me, and she does a lot of resiliency work. And I've been doing energy healing and energetic self-care teachings. And we're calling this stillness in motion. So it's addressing people who are interested in meditation, who are interested in energy work, who are interested in how to stay in your joy, in your chosen space with all the challenges that are happening in the world, in our personal lives, globally, weather, all kinds of stuff. So it's a focus on both transformation and resiliency, both individually and as community. So it's April 18th. It's a day, kind of retreat workshop, both, from 9 to 4, right? And it's co-sponsored by 2 organizations, one called the Contemplative Society, which is a North American organization, and then locally, Broadview United. And it will be at Broadview United. So I've got some little tiny flyers.
Mike.
And maybe this I can put up on
Yes,
the
absolutely.
bulletin board.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and there's a QR code for more information.
Amazing. Thank you, Leslie. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. All right, I just put the mic away, but I can, if anybody else has anything they have. No? What I will announce is that next Wednesday, Coralina Shante is going to be singing at Elevate here. So if you would like to come and hear Coralina sing, her voice sounds so beautiful in this space. She sang a few tunes on Sunday. She's going to be singing an original of hers, playing some guitar and with a band. So yeah, please join us next Wednesday as well for some special music. All right, well, I guess that is it. So let's move into our final tune that everybody's getting to know. And so if you feel like it, I can invite you to stand up. Stand on up, and we're going to sing our closing tune. Next slide, please. Super simple lyrics, just to build the love that starts with us. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. All right? We're just going to keep repeating it until we feel like it. All right? Here we go. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. Myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. All right, everyone, how about bless your neighbor for the week? All right, let's close this out, everyone. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. One last time. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me. Woo! The Elevate Trio, Pablo Cardenas on piano, Peter Douse electric bass, and guest drummer Nicholas Marquez. With keep the VTC Community Choir in the seats. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Jamie, on tech. Thank you to everyone who tuned in online. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Put something in the chat so we know that you're here. Thank you to Denise for greeting. Thank you for tending the garden the way that you do. And thank you to everyone for showing up tonight. We love you. We appreciate you. We are so glad you're here. And we'll see you next week, gentlemen.